Now, this is something I'm excited to be talking about, and that is Iowa Speedway will be hosting its first NASCAR Cup Series race in 2024.
This is going to be so fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Mom. It's still not going to happen.
Oh, it's happening, as the Cup race will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, June 16th. The race will also be part of a triple-header weekend on June 14th through the 16th. That will include the Xfinity Series, as they will also be making their return. The ARCA Menard Series will also race there on that weekend. The 0.875-mile short track first opened in 2006 and hosted Xfinity Series and Craftsman Truck Series races from 2009 through 2019. 19 Cup Series drivers have won at the Newton, Iowa track who are scheduled to race there in 2024. They include champions Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano. The ARCA Menard Series first started racing there in 2006 and has been there ever since, with 2014 being the only year that they didn't race there. Iowa has also hosted 19 IndyCar Series races, which date back to 2007. Here's NASCAR's Senior Vice President of Racing Development and Strategy, Ben Kennedy, talking about the announcement of the Cup Series coming to Iowa Speedway and more. "We're really excited to be heading to Iowa Speedway," said Kennedy. "The first time in what will be the 76-year history that we've had a Cup race at Iowa Speedway, and the first time in a really long time that we've had a Cup race in the state of Iowa, so we're excited to get there." Here's more from Kennedy. "We talk a lot about the racing product and what that looks like, and we hear from a lot of our fans that would like to see more short tracks," he said. "And then we also hear how good intermediate racing is with this next-gen car. And I think Iowa, in a lot of ways, shows both the short track as well as an intermediate racetrack in the way that it races. I'm so excited to see it on the schedule. The Iowa track is a favorite by drivers and fans throughout its history. After this announcement, NASCAR will be racing in the Hawkeye State for the first time since 1953. Herb Thomas was the driver who won that year at Davenport Speedway in his 92 Fabulous Hudson Hornet, which is a 0.5-mile dirt track located 130 miles east of Iowa Speedway. Here's NASCAR Hall of Famer and MRN radio broadcaster Rusty Wallace talking on when he found out the Cup Series was announced that they were going to Iowa and more. Rusty was also a co-founder and designer of Iowa Speedway.
I found out about a week and a half ago. Is when I first found out, and I spent a week and a half being excited right now. I actually was on vacation in Mexico, but I spent my whole vacation in Mexico knowing about this and to keep my mouth shut.
Here's Rusty talking about how different Iowa will be from the rest of the Cup Series schedule and more.
Well, you know, this new car, a lot of the drivers tend to really like the 1 mile, mile and a halves. Look, they love the short tracks, but this is kind of a track that's 7/8 of a mile in length. It races more like an intermediate track, not a short track, but it's going to be really fast. And with all the drivers already being here, they know what they're up to. So they're all excited about this. That's the big thing. All the drivers want to come here. And that's not being jammed down their throat or nothing like that. They all want to be here, and makes me feel good.
Kennedy is also a former racer and ran at Iowa 3 times in the Xfinity Series. That included a series debut, which included a top 10 finish for Richard Childress Racing. He also ran 4 Truck Series races and 6 ARCA East races at Iowa. Here's more from Kennedy on Iowa. "Selfishly as a fan, but also as a driver, being able to race around that track, I loved Iowa Speedway as a driver," Kennedy said. "It's a ton of fun and had a lot of grooves. We know what the racing product looks like on a worn-out surface. So I think to be able to go there on the same surface that's there today is going to put on a great racing product. There's going to be a lot of energy around it, so I'm looking forward to that. Pretty incredible that the Cup Series is finally coming to Iowa Speedway, and it's about damn time that they finally do."
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Exactly, LeBron James. It was unexpected when it was first announced that they would be going to Iowa because there was a lot of rumors about Montreal coming to the schedule. It was definitely completely out of left field, but I'm happy that they chose Iowa instead of Montreal. Iowa is another short track, and it covers another part of the U.S. as well, especially the Iowa market with Des Moines and Newton, Iowa, all that. So that's a pretty good choice there, especially. And Iowa Speedway has provided exciting short track racing and all that too. So I'm happy that it's finally on the Cup schedule. And it's pretty cool also that they're returning to the Xfinity Series as well. Obviously, that race they've ran several races there at Iowa Speedway over the years, like in the Xfinity Series as well. Many races, many times they ran 2 a year, which is pretty rare for a series in the lower series to be running 2 races at a track that isn't run by the Cup Series at all. And they did have many years with the Xfinity Series, and I'm happy that they're returning as well. Obviously, they have an incredible finish in 2011 at the U.S. Cellular 250, which was a night race then with Carl Levers and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And it looked like Stenhouse had a problem with a tire or an engine on the final lap, like right as they get to the finish line almost. And then Stenhouse at the line had to blow the engine there in the tire, whatever it was there. And then Edwards crashed into him at the line, which was an incredible finish there as well. And that was when Stenhouse was driving for Roush Fenway Racing at the time in the 6 car. And he won back-to-back championships with them that year in 2011 and in 2012 as well, before he went to the Cup Series. So that was a great finish there as well. And it's pretty awesome that the Cup Series will be running there at night. I was a little concerned that they might end up being running in the day, since the Cup Series has run a lot of day races also as well. But I'm happy that they ended up running at night. The only problem is, though, they're running again on a Sunday night. And I've said this before. Why do they keep doing that? Especially since the fact that running on a Sunday night means that kids have to go to school the next day or work as well. Like there's work the next day as well. And for it being on the Sunday night, and they do this also with the Clash as well, and also the All-Star race as well. Like those are like the races there. I don't get why they don't run on a Saturday night. But unfortunately, that is what it is. And I said that before. It just doesn't make sense. And also the fact is that if they run on a Sunday night, then they have to postpone it to Monday. And obviously, the reason for work is school. People are not going to be able to go to the race as much compared to if it was a Saturday night and they postponed to a Sunday. People could still be able to stay at the races and campers and all that stuff. I just don't understand why NASCAR keeps doing that. NASCAR, get your act together and put it on a Saturday night. It just makes more sense to be able to do that. But I just don't understand why NASCAR does that. But, that's just what they're doing there as well. But the difference is, because, with the Coca-Cola 600 and the Southern 500, it's different in that case because they're on the holiday weekend, with the Southern 500 being on Labor Day weekend and the Coca-Cola 600 being on Memorial Day weekend. That's a different story in those cases because Monday they're off, so there's no work or school, so the races can be run at night then, which makes sense. I just don't understand with the other ones. But hopefully NASCAR fixes that problem because it just doesn't make sense. But I'm happy it's being run at night, especially provides more exciting racing and all that to be able to race side by side. And it's pretty cool for the Cup Series to finally race at Iowa. Obviously, when I saw the schedule, I was like, who are they replacing? Because all the other tracks I saw are coming back for the most part. And the fact is, they ended up replacing Iowa Speedway, which makes sense because Iowa is not coming back for a couple of years because they're renovating their track to become a short track. But I'm hoping when they do come back that Iowa ends up staying on the schedule because they should replace Kansas Speedway because Kansas Speedway doesn't need 2-day races. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. So they should replace one of those, especially since it's still in the Midwestern area of the country. So it makes sense just to replace that one of the Kansas races and to keep like one of those, obviously. And you have that and be able to have more short tracks on the schedule. We don't need that many mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter tracks, especially in the daytime. I've said that before on the channel as well. It just doesn't make sense in that aspect either. Iowa's a great track, and hopefully, if it's successful, which I'm sure it will be because it's a short track race and all that, and it's going to definitely provide a great crowd and all that as well. Especially to kick off like the NBC part of the schedule as well, right? In pretty much like just before the start of summer, just a couple of days before. And so that'll be exciting there too. So definitely that's a good move there too, especially that they should do that. And if it's successful, have a second Iowa race there too, which is pretty awesome, which would be pretty cool there as well. I think they should race there twice a year because it's a great track and it provides unique racing as well. So it's pretty awesome that they're finally coming to the Cup schedule, and I hope they end up becoming a mainstay for a long time as well. And also, Iowa's known for obviously with the great moments there with the Xfinity Series. They also had a race called the CircusCity.com 250 as well in 2019. It's one of their 2 races. So they basically brought Circus City back into the sport as well, since they used to be in NASCAR in the 90s as well, sponsoring Hut Strickland and drivers like that as well, and even being like a Bobby Labonte's car for a little bit as well. So they hadn't been in NASCAR since the early 2000s, and they even sponsored Shane Lee in that race as well, driving a 28 car with Toyota, the car. So that's pretty cool to see Circus City back, even though it was with their CircusCity.com partnership, but still pretty cool as well with their website to be able to appear on the car like that. And it's pretty cool as well, like that the Xfinity Series come out. It made sense since they raced there for so many years. It would have been nice to see the CrossFit Truck Series come back also because they raced a lot of like at Iowa also over the years. And it should be there because they're known for racing on short tracks in that series. And it would have made sense for them to come back to Iowa, especially since they came back to Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Milwaukee Mile, which is good. But it would have been nice for them to see them come back to Iowa as well. hopefully sometime in the future they'll come back because this track is amazing. And it should have all 3 series there as well. And that would be better that way too. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, congratulations to NASCAR for making Iowa finally happen. And pretty cool for Rusty Wallace, who was like part of the owner, who used to be one of the owners of the track as well. Helped design it, especially since he had a lot of success on short tracks in his career, especially Martinsville, Bristol. Like, he's been a great short track driver pretty much in his career, especially in Hall of Fame and all that. And it is pretty cool, like, to be able to see his track finally get on the schedule, especially since he was part of the design and all that too. And Iowa's, like I said, it's just a great track. I'm looking forward to seeing it on the schedule. Hopefully it'll be a mainstay for years to come because it's just a great track, like I said. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the race plays out and all that. And it should be fun to watch. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like. And if you are brand new, subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.